Have you ever wondered if different languages might use different symbols than English? Do you want to make your username seem more exciting and foreign? Have you ever wanted to speak Vietnamese without accidentally summoning a demon? If so, strap in because I'm about to teach you the basics of diacritics. Diacritics are the little markers that people attach to letters if they're too pussy, if they're unwilling to make up entirely new letters. There are 12 main diacritics. Line going up, line going down, line staying in the same spot, line that goes up and then down, line that goes down and then up, that but spiky, tail facing left, tail facing right, dot underneath, dot overneath, and 2 dots. What most people think of when they hear accent is probably a racist impression of an Italian. But besides that, there's the acute. As the appearance suggests, it's used in tonal languages to represent a high or ascending tone. In some European languages, it's used to denote emphasis. As a shorthand, acute refers to strength, stress syllables, higher vowels, and, for some reason, palatization, only in Polish. But don't worry, if it goes through the letter instead of above it, then it represents velarization. While acute is a Chad alpha male who's used for strength, grave is a beta cuck soy boy who probably doesn't even abuse his wife. What a loser. It's used for whatever acute isn't. Lower vowels and low and descending tones. Macron is more simple. It's used to denote long vowels and geminated consonants. Also, mid-tones and high tones that weren't covered by acute. Wikipedia also helpfully notes that C with Macron means come. Please pretend that link is blue. Breve is short. It also sometimes means a tone that goes down and then back up. What if a sound is both short and tonal? Vietnamese answers that question by jamming both of the diacritics in the same spot, like a parsing error. Tilde is just a really small N that someone threw on top of a letter. In Spanish, it's used to make the N a better N, and in Portuguese, it's used to make the vowels more N. Vietnamese, of course, uses it to represent a tone that starts by going up and then suddenly... Cedilla is a product of French orthography, so you already know it's gonna suck. In French, the letter Z makes a Z sound, as you'd expect, but the S also makes a Z sound when it's stuck between two vowels, and the C only makes an S sound when it's before a front vowel. So if S is between two vowels and the second one isn't a front vowel, there's no way to write this except to use two S's, which they sometimes do, but most of the time, the genius solution was to draw a tiny little S underneath the C. Then the Turkish came along and said, oh, Cedilla palatizes the consonant it's attached to? Cool. And they used C with Cedilla for ch, even though C without a Cedilla makes a j sound in Turkish. So taking that in a vacuum, Cedilla appears to have a devoicing effect. The IPA unhelpfully additionally uses C with a Cedilla for h. Meanwhile, in the Czech Republic, or Bohemia, or whatever it was at the time, the linguists of the time cooked up another method of palatizing, which was to steal the breve and forgetting to round it. This was replicated into many Eastern languages. What about our good friend circumflex? Well, in tonal languages, it represents a tone that goes up and then back down. It can also be used to mark a vowel that is either weaker or stronger. But you say, isn't that all vowels? Well, first of all, don't interrupt me. And secondly, unlike acute and grave, circumflex doesn't have an opposite, which means it contrasts with an unmarked vowel, and therefore it can be thought of as the abnormal vowel. Now, some of you are probably thinking, hold on. I only clicked on this video so that I can reference dead memes. Where are the frickin' loops at, dude? To understand the history of umlaut, we first need to learn a quick thing about the Germanic umlaut. So basically in language there's this thing called vowel harmony, where a vowel decides it wants to be just like the vowel in front of it when it grows up. Sometime in early Germanic, a bunch of vowels grew up at the same time, and since the way of pluralizing nouns was to stick a front vowel on these, this led to a bunch of roots that have conjugations that are pronounced differently. To prevent these from being orphaned, they invented new letters to represent the sounds affected by this. The exact effect of the umlaut was to front the back vowels and close the open vowels. Predictably, O with umlaut makes an sound, and U with umlaut makes an U sound. A with umlaut makes an A or an S sound, and obviously E with umlaut makes a sound. What? That's because the umbrella of 2 dots above not only includes the umlaut, but also the diaeresis, which has a centralizing effect. E with diaeresis is a schwa. A with diaeresis is still a central vowel. I don't know why they feel the need to distinguish those two. And R with diaeresis represents the bunched R, which can alternatively be written as every single approximant set at once. Diaeresis also separates two different letters that would have been part of one digraph into two separate sounds. For example, the name Thomas could be distinguished from Thomas by writing it as Thomas. Very nice. But what if I only wanted one dot on top? That would be the over dot, so named because it's the dot that goes over it, baby. This one makes a consonant weaker, or more lenited, which is basically what a cedilla was supposed to do, except in, you guessed it, Polish, where it turns Z into a retroflex consonant. Why not just use ZS like Hungarian? Nobody knows. What if the dot goes underneath it? Well, obviously that makes a vowel more close, or in Vietnamese it means it goes down in pitch and then stops abruptly. But when underdot is used on a consonant, it moves it back in the mouth. You know, like, I don't know, moving it from the alveolar ridge to a retroflex consonant? Why are Polish diacritics so wrong? This makes no sense. Alright, so if underdot makes a vowel more closed, how do you make it more open? I don't know, give it a frickin' tail, or better yet, use the ogonek to represent nasalization. So basically, there's a lot of diacritical overlap caused by different regions using different writing systems. There are basically three collections, north, east, and south. In the north one, we use acute for emphasis, umlaut for fronting, and circumflex to distinguish weaker vowels. In the east, they use charon for palatizing, overdot for weaker consonants, underdot for closer vowels, and ogonek for more open or nasal vowels. Finally, in the south, they use acute for strength, grave for weakness, breve for shortness, circumflex for length, cedilla for palatizing and softening, and tilde for nasalization. Thanks for watching. Today's video is sponsored by bees.